Hi guys, it's Elisa with Fusion DIY. Welcome back to my channel. This is the entryway in the front door of my home, and you can see there's a flower arrangement on the wall that is from the 1980s, and that needs to go. And the whole area just needs a refresh. There's a table here that I picked up many years ago, also from the 1980s, and that needs to go. I plan on just taking everything out of this room, giving the walls a paint job, and putting in a piece of furniture that's been sitting in my basement for a number of years. I also have this mirror I'm planning on keeping that. The light fixture I'm not going to do anything with either at this point. It works well, it looks good, and it's just I'm not doing anything with it. The coat closet, again, not doing anything with those doors. It just needs a refresh, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. So this is a piece of furniture that I picked up many years ago at a rummage sale, and you can see that it's in rough shape. I had it in my basement for a good number of years, and I was going to use it as a vanity in my bathroom when I did a makeover there. But now, looking at it, I'm kind of glad that I decided not to do that because this is in really rough shape. I'm going to be using this as my own personal piece of furniture, so I'm not going to put a whole lot of work into it. I'm just going to try to cover some of the major blemishes and use it in my home. You can see the pretty medallions on it, which I thought were really pretty, but it's in rough condition. I also really loved the hardware on it, and that just needs a case of rub and buff, and you can see some of the damage. When I purchased this piece, I didn't think it was in that bad a shape, but now that I'm looking at it closely, obviously it's very dusty and it needed to be cleaned, but I didn't realize it was so bad. The inside is actually pretty clean. It just needed to be dusted out and sprayed down. So after I sprayed it down with some crud cutter, I removed the hardware and started to fill in some of the holes and some of the damage in the piece. Now here's a closer look at the hardware. I thought it was really pretty, and I really didn't have any desire to paint it any other color, but I thought I would do some rub and buff on it and just bring out the gold in it. And I also plan on using some rub and buff on the mirror that's going to go right above it. So now I'm just taking some joint compound and I am filling in the major issues on this piece. I wasn't concerned about using the joint compound because I plan on painting it. And so I filled in joint compound and I let it dry overnight. And then the following morning I came back and I sanded everything down. While I was waiting for the joint compound to harden, I actually painted the walls, and this was just one coat of leftover paint that I had, and it actually turned out really well. This hasn't been painted since we built the house, and that was in the 1990s, and so it just turned out really well. I thought I just liked the white, and I felt like it just brightened everything up. And so now, unfortunately, I didn't get any video of me giving this an original paint job, but when I painted it, I noticed that there was some veneer on this one door that was starting to peel off, so I actually glued it and clamped it. And this is the second coat that I'm giving it. I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss, And you can see the difference of what the wet paint looks like versus the dry paint. I actually really do love this color a lot, and believe it or not, for this piece I think I only used about a half of a small jar of Waverly, so it covered well, and I thought it turned out beautiful when it was dry. Now this is me giving a second coat to the mirror, and I am giving it a second coat, not concerned about taping off because I'll just use a razor blade to get rid of the paint once it's dried. And you can see my very sophisticated system of elevating the mirror off the countertop so that I can actually paint it. It worked out really, really well, and I was happy I did that. Now I'm going to give it 2 coats, both the sideboard and the mirror, 2 coats of polyacrylic, and when that was done I went back and I put some rub and buff on it just to bring out some gold and make the mirror match the sideboard a little bit better. So you'll see I'm going around the mirror and not giving too much rub and buff on there, but just enough to make the mirror match the hardware on the sideboard and make it look like one cohesive piece. So here's the before, and then in a moment you'll see the after. And I just love how it turned out. My daughter flipped when she saw what I had done with this piece that was just hanging in the basement. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber to my channel. Once again, thank you for joining me, and I wish you all a very, very happy new year, and here's all for good things in 2024. May God richly bless all of you in the coming year.